In this video, we will talk about two add-ons that are available in Blender. It's the extra objects and the bolt factory. So let's go into that. Here we have the possibility to use the extra object. Okay, and into the extensions you have the extra curves as well. I will show you that as well. I will just if you just not have extra mesh objects into the add-ons, you just get it into the extensions. I will just use the same for the extra curve. Okay, so I just install it, and then I will search the bolt factory. This one is a must-have too. So, okay, you have the bolt factory, you have the extra objects, and basically it's pre-configured objects that will be very useful and will you gain some time. So here, for example, we have a new menu here, a new menu. If you go into mesh option, you will have everything here that wasn't here before, okay? And you have the bolt as well. We will see the bolt in the end of the video. Into the curve section, you will have the same thing here. More options. You can see that you will have a lot of possibilities there to add more curves or more curves already pre-configured. So let's go into the mesh section first. What you will have, and it's a good one, is the round cube. So the round cube lets you go into it says what it is just by showing it. Okay, a round cube, no triangles there, so very good. Here you have the torus objects, so you have some twisted torus, super torus, torus knot as well. So if I just add a torus knot over there, here you will have this type, okay, with different knot types, for example. Can be useful sometimes, I don't know. And you have some different torus, the twisted one that you could not have before, okay? And with this you can increase the number of twists if needed. So sometimes it can be good because you will have this kind of selection possible here after that wasn't possible before, okay? This kind of twisted selection, and just by extrude it and put it in or pull it out, you will have really nice possibilities of make some experiments with that, okay? You have some math functions, so for those that want to create some math functions and that are good with that. I'm not really a mathematician here, but mostly you just add one z equation here and it will give you a shape like that. So for people that are in mathematics and want to show the equation just with a 3D model, can be good, even if I don't use it myself that much. You have the gear, okay, so you will have this, really good to can add the number of teeth that you want, the radius if needed, the within, the base, okay, the size of the dedentum, the addentum, the pressure angle if you want. So yeah, a lot of possibilities with that, and yeah, very easy to understand as it is like that. So I don't know, for someone that want to make a clock or someone that want to make a jewelry design with a watch or something like that, you can add really gears very easily like this. And like this you will have the worm as well, so it's the infinite one. You just play with the same kind of settings, the basic radius, the row height, okay, the addendum, the dedendum as well. So you can see that basically you can really add some interesting shapes into that. You will have here the pipe joints. So this is really a time saver. Like for example, you want a Y joint, let's go, and you will have it. You can play with the angles, okay, and everything is in quad directly. You can play with the radius, with the division as well. So let's say you make a pipe and you don't want to make your cuts because it will be long time to, not really long time, but it will be complicated to make this really. So really a good time savior here. And you can play as well with let's say a cross joint or an end joint. You just add the number that you need, okay? And if you want more, you add more. So can be useful this uh, just to make your pipe joints easily, okay? Here you have some gemstones, so you can add a brilliant, for example. If you are in jewelry, it's good. If you are in jewelry, I really recommend to use jewel craft. I make a lot of tutorials on that. You just go into my channel and you will see that you will have a lot of information for this. But this is very good because you can play with the number of segments if needed. And didn't work that well for this one. Let's go with this one. I know that it works well. Yeah, you can increase the number of divisions. You can play with the size of the radius crown. You can play with the size of the pavilion here, the height of the crown, the pavilion over there. So yeah, for gem makers, jewel makers, it can be very useful as well. And you have the diamond here. That works well too. Okay, that you can see. So don't increase that much the number here. Something like that might look good, even if the others are more beautiful in my opinion. Okay, so this is a basic cut, but yeah, can work in some ways. You have some extras, like for example the rock generator, the beam builder, the wall factory. So let's go into the rock generator here, and as it says, it creates some rocks. So you can add some different rocks, different objects. For example, let's say you want to add some rocks somewhere, and like this you will have a lot of iterations of that with a random seed, so they will never have the same shape. And like this you will have maybe objects that you can add into your projects easily. Okay, so these two are really similar. I will delete that one, but you can see that here the shapes are really different. So it could be good to add this and distribute that on a landscape, for example. We will see how to distribute things into landscapes with geometry nodes into the chapter 17, I think. But yeah, you can see that to add some rocks somewhere can be good. I'm not sure if it's UV wrapped already. Let's go into that. No, you will have to unwrap it yourself. But yeah, it's just a simple operation, this. Okay, and here you have into the extras again, the beam builder. So yeah, just a beam builder. You have a box profile, a U profile, a C profile, R, Y, T. So yeah, sometimes can be useful. I like the next one, the wall factory, really powerful one. So you can make some, let's say, old style walls with that, ruins. And there you have, for example, the possibility to add some more openings here. If you open the opening sections, you will have the possibility to repeat, okay, or not. Here you can see that you have 3. Now if you increase the size or the global size of the wall, it will repeat directly, just like that, okay? You can merge the blocks if needed. You can play with the withings of the blocks, play with the variance. If you add no variance, they will all be the same. But if you increase the variance like this, they will have different sizes. Okay, so can be useful. And you play with the minimum size. Okay, you have the depth, the variance for the depth as well, if you want to. Okay, so to have something really like old rings like this, so can be useful again. I will decrease this now, not a lot, just a little like this. Okay, And you can play with a lot of things here. You have the slots to add some slots into it. So maybe I will remove the openings. The slots will look like that, and you can repeat the slots as well. Maybe not that much. So you just check the indent, the vertical, the horizontal here, and you will have something to add less, I guess. It seems not really, actually. Yeah, it's a strange way to repeat things here. Anyway, you have the kernels here that you can add as well on top. So I like to add it with less big amounts like this, and maybe a bigger height. Yeah, to have something like that. You have some shelves that you can add here, okay, with again the possibility to increase the side of it like this into the entire wall, for example, to make your character walk into that space, for example. You have some steps as well that you can put and add, and that can be you can play with the height of it. You can play with the riser like this, the number as well, I guess, the within, yeah, just to go until the top, for example. Okay. You have the depth as well if you want bigger. So you can play really with a lot of things with that. And then the transform options as all the objects that you can find in Blender. So that's it for this one. A simple star add-on, a simple star object here. So really simple one. You can increase the number of branches, decrease it, and play with the little options. So yeah, I mean, just this one, it's something that you don't have by default, and if you not have it, it will, if you want to model it, it will take some time. A step pyramid here. Okay, so it's not something I use every day, but why not? It's here. You have a honeycomb. This too can be a mess to model, so you just increase the number of rows and columns just like that. You have the diameters of the cell, you have the edge within that you can increase and decrease. So yeah, all of this, it's a time saver in case you want to make it. You have a teapot and a major sponge. I had the teapot, so the classical one, nothing to do with it, no options. And you have the major sponge here. So this is a little crazy, a little crazy object because you can just increase the level and it will kind of subdivide itself with something with infinity subdivision like this. So be careful, if you increase this too much, it will start to take some time to, because we went from here 36,000 to directly here 600,000, I think. Yeah, so be careful, the next one might crash Blender because too much memory we will take. But here you can see that it creates interesting stuff. Why not in architecture use it, or maybe in sci-fi can be interesting to add this kind of stuff. Okay, good. So this was for the objects. For the curves, we have the curlies. So can be very good to make easily some decorations or things like that. You have different curve types here. Okay, you can have different options. So very easy to understand. As you can see, it works very well. You have the possibility to add some spirals as well. Okay, you can play with the number of steps, the height here, number of turns if you want. Okay, and it will just create this. You will have the possibility to use the curve as a poly or as a basic curve like this. Okay, in case you want to use it like that, and you use an automatic like this maybe, and you can add less steps in that case, like for example, let's say 6 might be enough to add this. Okay, so you will have this kind of possibility there. You can play with knots as well. For example, you have the tourist knots here that you can play as well. It's the same that you have into the mesh section, but made with curve. Okay, so you have the number of spins here, the resolution over there. So you can play with more options to create crazy knots. Okay. And you have the last one here. The last one is a little specific. It's the braid knot. So by default, it makes this. And you can increase this into the object here, option geometry, to increase the depth. Okay, and you can see the braid over there. So it can be useful in some cases. Okay. So that's it for all these objects. The braid circle, can I delete it? Yeah. No, it doesn't want to delete. Maybe here? Yes. So that's it for the extra objects, the extra curves. And here we have the last one that I want to show you. Can be interesting as well. So all of this, I go a little fast for that, but it's just to show you the possibilities. I will not go too deep into that because it will take a lot of time. But it really depends on what you want to do with Blender, as I said in the beginning of this chapter. The add-ons are really specific cases that you will make your own version of Blender, let's say. Okay, so let's go into the bolt section. Here, as you can see, when I add a bolt, I will have directly a bolt. And it's the real size, so you can really add this and use it for 3D printing or things like that. It will work. For example, let's go to that, and you will have different options over there. So you can play with bolt or nuts. Okay, you will have this option over there. You can play with the possibility to add some here extra things like the Allen, the Torx, or the Phillips if needed. And all of this is something that you can change if you want to increase the depth or increase the diameter of the Phillips here. You can make it just like this, okay? You can play with the head, like for example here it's an hexagonal one, but you can have a 12 point. In that case I will remove the Phillips or make it less big. Yeah, like this we can really see what's happening. Okay, I will just remove that to show this. You will have the basic cap, you will have the dome like that, okay? You will have the pan, and you will have the countersink. So can be very powerful. Then after you have some presets. So M3, M4, M5, like in real life. So really easy to understand. And let's say you want M8, let's go for it, okay? And you want to increase the shank length, the shank diameter, or something like that, you increase the shank length, okay? The diameter, usually you don't change it. And then after you can play with the thread here, okay? So a lot of possibility to play with that, okay? You increase the length of that. And let's say you would like to create the female part for this. Let's add a mesh cube for that, okay? And scale it down until we have the right size. Good. And then you just have to duplicate this one. Like this, we keep the original, okay? And you take this one and make a Control-Shift-, and you will have a female part that will suit perfectly for the board, just like that, with Boolean operation. So even for 3D printing that will work with real boards, you can create your own objects that will work. Be careful here. I really recommend you to to increase a little the size, just a little, because sometimes for 3D printing it adds too much material. So in that example, for make it real, what I do, let's go in orthographic view and in wireframe view here. I will just select all of this here. If it wants, it takes everything because I just want the vertices. Okay, and now I can select all of this. And what I do, I just make a little, I make it just a little bigger, not that much, but let's say Shift Z, not Z, and we don't want a Z axis there, and we increase that just a bit. As you can see, let's say half of the datum here. And now it will be perfect to print it. Okay, so it's a little tip that I give you in case you want to make this. Sometimes it can be helpful. Another thing that you can do with it, that is just for decorations, for hard surface techniques. So let's say you have a cube there. Okay, big cube, and you want to model something like something a little sci-fi style. Okay, so let's make something like that with Control B, and just with Y and an extrusion inside, I will just add some depth into that object. Again, I can do the same here. I can add some other parts if needed, but more or less I will keep it like this. Maybe I will add a loop here. It doesn't matter really the number of vertices and faces. I will just extrude that like this and make something like this with GZ to have this kind of style. Okay, and now I have more interesting shape here that I can extrude, that I can use with Y to create this kind of interesting. And with Alt S now I can push it inside like this, just to have an interesting shape. Okay, and then you can play a lot with the shapes. We did see that already. It's just to have a global shape to play with like that. Okay, I will just add the shadows like this. We will see a little more the results, and now I would like to add some balls into that to make it look a little more real. So let's go into this, and for this I just add a bolt. Actually, I just want the head of the bolt because the inside will not be interesting. So I will just add a basic bolt here. Have a look at it here in non-orthographic view. And what we want is just the top of it. So we will remove everything here. The length will be 0.1, okay, even 0. We cannot go to 0, and this one will be 0 as well. So we just want something really basic like that. Then we will choose the head. So maybe we will want something like a cap, maybe not a cap, maybe a dome, just a simple dome, a dome like this. And I will put an Allen into that one, or maybe what do we have here? A Torx. A Torx will look good for this. Nice. Now in front view, okay, orthographic view, wireframe view, okay, we'll just go into this object, remove all of this. Okay, and what we will do, we will dissolve the faces like this. We will keep a surface over there. Okay, and we will make Control plus until we have this kind of selection to have really something flat in the end, and we will dissolve all of this again. It will be the faces here, and now we'll have an entirely flat surface there. We want that the origin point will be into the surface, so we select everything and make a GZ into edit mode. Like this, we will have this object ready. We can scale it a little because the object is big, and now we will use the face project technique and align rotation to target. Now what is good is that I can just select this, and just by G I can put it where I want, and it will give this kind of hard surface style into corners over there, like this, that. Okay, works pretty well, as you can see. So I just duplicate where I want to add some. Maybe one here and maybe one there. Okay, and maybe I can put some here and there as well, like this. Okay, as you can see, it's very quick and it adds a little of character into your object very efficiently. Okay, so maybe I have enough there. So now what you can do is, as it's everything well done on the left side, okay, we can select one, okay, and we can add modifier mirror into that object. So it will be a generate mirror. So now it will mirror itself on the same location, but we want a mirror object here, and this object will be this one. Like this, it will go directly into this. Now we can select all the others with Shift key, and we can make copy to select it, and they will have exactly the same. So like this, you will have your object like this, okay? So works very well for art surfaces, as you can tell. So that's it. It was the use of these different part of these add-ons, the extra object, the extra curve, and the board section. Now, what we would like to do is explore architecture. And for that, we will go with Archimesh and IKEA browser.